morning, everybody. Today's lesson will be on practical. Okay, we will be talking about the presentations of your data collected in your practical. Okay, which is one of the important criteria, the basic criteria for a physicist. Okay, for scientists, you're recording the data in the correct format. Interpreting your data is one of the basic skills we have for all science students. Okay, especially for physics. Okay, if for physics, we will look at one of the common experiment that we have, which is the pendulum. Okay, recording the oscillation timing and the period for a pendulum. Okay, let's say we run through a simple experiment whereby you need to record the pendulums, the timing for oscillation for different length of pendulum. Okay, let's say the length ranges from 100 cm to let's say 40 cm. Okay, then after you're supposed to record the timing for 20 oscillations. Okay, you not just once but actually twice the second time. Then after the questions will actually require you to find the average timing, followed by the timing for one oscillations, which what we commonly known as the period. After finally the question was asked you to record down the t square, okay, square of a period. Okay, so in the normal case, the data that you collected, okay, will be here, will be on the upper deck. These are the data that you collected on the day, okay, within the first 20 minutes of your experiment. Okay, just record it at your own pace. So from here, how do we actually rewrite and present it in the correct manner or in the table form that the marker requires? Okay, so one of the common things that you have in your table is your headings. The heading is like the title for each of the columns. So this is commonly what we know as the headings. Okay, the headings for physics, we have it in a certain format. Okay, it has to be written in a certain format. For example, this. Okay, the heading has to be written in the format whereby it is. Okay, so the heading has to be in certain format. So the format is in terms of what I usually call it as a symbol. The symbol used in the experiment. So this is what we call the symbol. Then followed by the slash and the unit. The unit here doesn't refer to SI unit. It usually I would say it refers to the unit required by the experiment or by the marker itself. So this is what we call unit. So the SI unit for length is meter, but for the experiment, this experiment actually requires us to record it in cm. Okay, so we just take the unit as cm. So you'll find that all the headings, okay, they are actually marked present in the same format. Okay, such as you have the symbol used in the question, followed by the unit used in the question. Okay, so for unit, okay, for time is measured in seconds. Okay, symbol used will be T1 and T2 to represent first and second data. Then after you have a T average, okay, the average of the two timing, and followed by the capital T. This will be the symbol for period. Okay, and the unit used, okay, will be, okay, on the right side, which is seconds. Okay, and we always separate it by the slash. Okay, try not to use the brackets. Okay, then after that, same thing for t square of a t. Okay, the symbol used is t2. Okay, t power 2 t square, and the unit, same thing, will be just s2. You see, the format is always the same: symbol slash unit. So in terms of presentation, the heading is actually controlled in this manner. So we actually standardize the heading to be like symbol slash unit. So for students who are presenting your data, remember the heading has to be in this particular format. Okay, symbol followed by units. Symbol, usually the questions will actually give it to you. The question actually dictate the symbol. After that, when you do your data, you'll find that when you're recording the data, it's not just the value that's important. The way you present, how many dPs, SF actually is important. Because in physics, the dPs, the accuracies of the data actually dictates or actually depicts the instruments used by the particular scientist. Okay, so for example, in length, okay, when I use in cm, I'm usually using a meter rule. For ruler, okay, the accuracy for a ruler is actually 0.1 cm, up to 1 decimal place measured in cm. So for ruler, you'll be in 1 dp. So whenever you record length using ruler, okay, you find that the data here will all be measured in 1 dp. Okay, will all be written or recorded as 1 dp. So any data collected from the instruments, using the instruments, will actually be recorded for 1 dp for ruler only. Okay, for micrometer, vernier caliper, okay, please refer to your textbook for your relevant accuracies. Okay, for stopwatch, same thing. For stopwatch, okay, you are using for timing, you are using a stopwatch. So for stopwatch, okay, same thing. The accuracy that you're looking for stopwatch, okay, is actually 2 dps. So for stopwatch, what you are looking for in our syllabus is actually 2 dp in seconds. Okay, so the timing that you record for T1 and T2, okay, is what we call your timing for your 20 oscillations. It has to be in 2 dps. Okay, so just take note of this. Okay, that's why you find that T1 and T2, whenever you record the data, okay, is always in 2 dps. Okay, so that's what we mean by data recorded. Okay, we have actually a name for it, as in for data that we gathered from our instruments that we recorded down. We actually have a name for this. This 2 rows, okay, is what we call raw data. Okay, whereby the data are actually recorded from the instrument. So we have a name for it, which we call this raw data. Okay, so this is what we call the raw data. Okay, so these 3 rows are my raw data, and the last 3 rows here, we'll call it the process data, whereby the raw data actually went through some processing. It can be a simple calculation, simple mathematics. So the raw data is actually being processed, okay, by people, and these data are what we call process data. Okay, so for process data, this is recorded in a different format. Okay, so let's look at how is it. Okay, so for T average, okay, is the process data whereby the students are required to use the raw data and do some mathematical manipulations. So for process data, for T average, students have to take note. T average, when we talk about averaging, okay, when we talk about averaging, let me erase this first. Okay, so when we talk about averaging, okay, average, okay, we actually follow the smallest or the least dps of the data used. What do I mean by this? Okay, for example, average, it requires me to use T1 and T2. Okay, so it's T1 and T2 divided by 2. So in terms of how many dps or how should I record the data, you will follow the least dp of T1 or T2. So for example, if T1 is 2 dps, okay, T2 is 2 dp, my T average should be recorded according to the least dp of the data used. Okay, so for example, T1 is 2 dp, T2 is 2 dp, so my T average will actually be recorded in 2 dps. Okay, so likewise, same thing. If for the second row, you find that if my data is 2 dp, my data used is 2 dp, okay, my process data here will actually be the least dps of both. So 2 dp, the smallest will of course be 2 dps. So what happens if the sum of the data they use, okay, example, it might have, let's say I might have 1 dp here, okay, I might have 1 dp, 9.8, then the other data I'm looking at is 2 dps. So if I have a 1 dp, I have a 2 dps, okay, T1 is 1 dp, T2 is 2 dp, for example. So what happened to my T average? My T average will be recorded according to the least dps of my data use. So 1 dp versus 2 dp, the smallest dp is 1 dp. So my T average now will actually be recorded in terms of 1 dp. Okay, so this technique, okay, students, you have to remember, okay, because it will actually dictate the way you present your data. So for this particular case, you look at T1 and T2, all the data you collected are actually in terms of 2 dps, so which means that T average will actually be 2 dps in terms of presentation data. Okay, so just take note of this. So the other process data we are looking at is for period. Sometimes period is T average divided by 20, because I'm looking at 20 oscillations. So when you look at times and division for process data, we have average for 1, okay. Then after that, we have what we call multiplication and divisions for process data. Okay. So for process data, I will have maybe multiplication. I'm looking at maybe multiplications and followed by divisions. So whenever I use multiplication or division in my processing, I will actually look at one criteria. My data should be recorded accordingly to the least SF of the raw data used. Okay, so what am I looking at is, for example, if T, okay, I'm using T average, okay, divided by 20. Okay, T average, the only raw data we have in this processing, T average is T for period T, it is T average divided by 20. Okay, so for T average, the raw data used, okay, for the first row, it will be 12.68. This guy is actually 4SF. Okay, so for T1, this will be 4SF. So I'm looking for the how should I present my period capital T. I will look at SF because it's a division, so it will be 4SF. Okay, so since there is only one data, so period capital T will actually follows the least SF of the raw data. So in this case, my capital T will actually be recorded to 4SF. So if I repeat this, you'll find that maybe my second and third column, or my second and third row, you'll find that this data will actually be 4SF and 4SF. But you'll find that towards the last three row, especially this, okay, 8.98, this is 3SF. Okay, so 3SF, okay, my least SF here will be 3SF. Okay, so my capital T will be recorded in 3SF. Likewise for the last data, so it will be 3SF. So you find that for capital T, my period, I actually do not have a standardized SF. You'll find that the first 4 data are 4SF, and the last 3 data are recorded in 3SF. Okay, remember the rule that we are referring to is the process data is recorded according to the accuracy of your raw data. And for multiplication and divisions, we are looking at, okay, least SF. If I'm looking at averaging, I'm looking at least TP. So this is what we call the protocol that we are looking for, or the process that we're looking for. Same thing for T average. Okay, for T averaging, okay, T average is T squared, means T times T. Okay, it's the multiplications. I'm using T multiplied by T. So I'm looking at T times T. Okay, so T is 4SF. T is 4SF. So if I follow the least of them, I will just take 4SF. So which means for T squared, you'll find that the first 4 data is recorded to 4SF. For the last 3 data, okay, since my T is 3SF, okay, 3 is 3SF, so I'll follow the least of the SF, which means that, okay, the SF for T square would be recorded to 3SF. And again, for T square, you'll find that the data recorded is actually in terms of 4SF and 3SF. It's not like a standardized SF for everybody. Okay, so students, for process data, you have to know what SF you are supposed to present your data, and this involves a bit of manipulation or a bit of analyzing. So before you go ahead and record all your data on your table to you standardize it to be 3SF, please do not do this. Okay, before you go and do this, please look at this video again and again to look at how we actually should present our data. And this is actually one of the important skills of presenting your data, because if you have a bunch of data and it's presented wrongly, okay, people will interpret that data differently, and the analyzing and the analysis and the conclusions and the information derived from your data will be misinterpreted. Okay, which is why we are really particular about presentations, presenting your data in the correct format. Okay, so I repeat, in the table, generally they are what we call the headings. Okay, you need to record in certain things, certain style, and you have the presentation of your raw data, which is presented according to the accuracy of your instruments. Okay, one instruments, okay, refer to your textbooks or refer to your physics teacher for the details. And the third one would be a process data, which is recorded according to the least SF for multiplication and division, and least TP for averaging. Okay, with this, okay, we have roughly wrapped up what we the section on data recording. The next section or the next video we are looking at is plotting of your graph. Okay, we'll look at it at a later stage. Okay, so stay tuned for the next video. If you are not sure about recording, okay, same thing, please look at this video again. If it's still unclear, feel free to drop me an email, okay, regarding your question. Okay, thank you.